I want to share with you very practically tonight. Number one, if they're not hiring, don't sit at home. For a young person, idle time is the devil's time. If you are single, if you are young and you have a free time, that means the devil has opportunity. If you don't have a free time, you can actually be holy. The more free time you have, the less chances you have to live your life right before God. Because that is the way you are wired. You can't just do free time. You always find something troublesome to do. That is the way God wired us, for us to be occupied and busy with what God wants us to do. And for those of you who maybe you just finished with high school, or you're finishing with high school and there is a pressure of the family, you need to go get a degree, you need to quickly sign up to a university or to CBC. I want to tell you something. Hold on. I know your parents might get mad at me, but tell your parents this. Most people who go to college switch their majors many times. I know people personally who have master's degree and they have a certificate hanging in their wall, but they're working in a completely different job. They go to college, they accumulate so much debt. Why? Because there's a pressure of culture. Get a degree, get a degree, get a degree. I say this, take 1 year and pause. And no, not 1 year and go get pregnant. I'm not saying go 1 year and go and just travel and get a lot in debt, but take 1 year and say, God, I want my roots to go deeper. God, I want to learn more about you. God, I want to learn more about myself. I want to learn who you made me to be, instead of spending 4 years, $60,000 accumulating debt and then never ending up doing that which I studied for. You see, what happens with Ruth is she begins to occupy herself, she begins to serve, she begins to give her free time to actually go pick up at somebody's field. And as she was doing that, little did she know the field she was picking up grain from, in a matter of time, will be the field she will own. The places you volunteer might be the places you will lead one day. If they're not hiring, volunteer. I always say to our guys, for those of them who are looking for a job, and I say, if you're currently right now between jobs, don't sit at home and catch up on latest Netflix TV shows. Don't do that. What you want to do is this: if you simply are without a job, or maybe you are looking for a job and they're not hiring, listen, don't just sit at home and fall into depression. You get up in the morning, you dress up like you would go to work, and you come to church at 9 o'clock, and Pastor Vlad will be your boss. He won't be paying you much except compliments, but we all know you need them. We all need them. But you're gonna get experience, you're gonna not waste your time, you're gonna feel productive, and something is gonna happen. You never know where volunteering in somebody's field will lead you to. Idle time is temptation time. Do not allow the devil to tempt you by making yourself too available to him. Fill yourself with good things, fill your summer with important things, and then you will see the devil will just simply have no hookup for you. I wanna just mention one more thing for those of you who are just working now. You're working for somebody. I want you to begin to dream that one day you will be your own boss. But can I throw you a bigger dream, which is the Boaz dream? Boaz was not his own boss. Boaz was a boss to other people. It's selfish when you only think about, I just want to be independent. I want to be able to wake up at 10 o'clock and nobody to remind me to show up to work. I want to do what I want. That is a selfish thing. That is a limited thing to do. You need to be dreaming that you will run a company. You will run an organization. Yes, you might be only 15, you might be 16, but listen, you're running your own family already. You got your siblings doing what you want them to do. So God has a call for you, and God has a destiny for you, and maybe you have an assignment of a Boaz inside of you. Come on, somebody. I want you to quickly write down number 2 is that purity only happens when passion is regulated by our principles. So Ruth is volunteering at Boaz's field. She's hanging out there, she's serving, and Boaz, the boss, he just kind of lets her do that. He's very generous, and we learned that God wants us not only to be our own bosses, God wants us to employ other people, just like Boaz. But if you're like Ruth, God doesn't want you to sit at home and just wait for somebody to call. You go and serve, and you go volunteer, pretend like you're working, and God will take care of you, and you will find a job, you will find your career, you will know what to do if you give your time to the Lord instead of just sitting at home and benching on Netflix. But I want you to see secondly, is that Ruth is a single lady. She's a young lady. She's attractive. And her mother-in-law says, Ruth, girl, you gotta get married. She's like, well, nobody's proposing. And Naomi tells her this. She says, why don't you go to Boaz and propose to him? So girls, I'm gonna give you a permission and freedom in here today, okay? Because we have some Boazes, okay, who are slow asses. And they need a little push sometimes. Now, if you are 18 and below this, for next 2 minutes, I want you to completely forget. May God give you amnesia. Forget everything I said. But anybody who is older than that, and you already have a car and you already have a job, I want you to see something is happening. Where Ruth comes to Boaz, it's night. Now, this is not a good thing to do during this culture, but in this culture was fine. She comes during the night. The homeboy is sleeping. She comes, she lays next to him. Okay, that's what her mother-in-law says. So if your mom says that to do that, check that with your pastor first. But the mother-in-law says, go lay next to him. She lays next to him. There was nothing inappropriate that happened. The guy got pretty cold. He's looking for a blanket. He's realizing a woman is laying next to him. And this is what I want you to see. They could have quickly made out. They could have quickly had a little thing going, little fling going. And Ruth looks at him and says, listen, just want to give you a heads up, single, ready to mingle. I see you're single too. Your status hasn't changed on Facebook. What do you think about taking this nice lady out for a date? And Boaz says, you really would want to go on a date with me? Yeah, I've been waiting, been giving you the signals. Didn't you get it? And Boaz says, well, you know what, this is great. I would love to actually go out with you, marry you right here on the spot. But by the way, there is a guy because they have a tradition where you can't just marry a widow. The closest to the family has to marry the widow first. And if he declines it, then somebody else needs to come in and marry. And he says, as much as I like you, you're attractive, you're young, you fit, I click. I mean, I feel that in my heart, but I gotta go talk to the elders. I want you to see this about Boaz. He did not let his passion dictate his principles. He let the principles regulate his passion. That means if he's hot, that does not mean that, well, he's not Christian. It doesn't matter, he's hot. Hell is hot too. You don't want hell. But you don't understand, she can change. No. You can't let your passion dictate your life. You got to let the principles of God control your passion.